The Umuama community was never the same after the arrival of a mysterious and evil old woman known to all as Queen Mother. Her piercing stare could curdle milk at 100 paces, and her wicked reputation preceded her. But what the villagers didn't know was that her evil powers ran deeper than they could ever imagine, affecting the lives of her own children. In a small hut on the outskirts of the village, two sons of the Queen Mother, Onyebuchi and Ekene, sat with their heads in their hands, staring at a withered seed that had been given to them by a native doctor. For over 10 years, they had been married, and for over 10 years, they had been childless. They had tried everything, including herbs, rituals, and potions, but nothing seemed to be working. Their wives were on the brink of tears, and the villagers were beginning to whisper that the Queen Mother's curse was the reason for their childlessness. The Queen Mother's daughter, Adoma, was not faring any better. At 55 years old, she was still not married, and the villagers would often point and giggle behind her back. The Queen Mother would often tell her that she was too old for marriage, and no man would ever want to marry a woman of her age. But what the villagers didn't know was that the Queen Mother was the one responsible for her son's infertility. She had cast a wicked spell, ensuring that they would never conceive. And as for Adoma, she had deemed her unworthy of love and marriage. One day, the Queen Mother's youngest son, Ikechukwu, decided to get married. He met a young prayerful woman named Chika, who was known for her devotion to God. Despite the Queen Mother's disapproval, Ikechukwu and Chika tied the knots, and their love and faith in God grew stronger. Chika soon realized that something was wrong in the family. She noticed that her mother-in-law's eyes seemed to bore her soul, and she could feel the weight of the Queen Mother's evil presence. But she refused to back down. Instead, she turned to prayer and fasting, begging God to reveal the truth and set her family free. One fateful night, as Chika prayed fervently in her room, she heard a loud cry from the Queen Mother's hut. The old woman emerged, her eyes wide and her face twisted in a snarl. She stumbled towards Chika, her hands trembling, and confessed to her wicked deeds. "I did it to keep the family under my control," the Queen Mother cackled. "I wanted to be the one with the power, but God has exposed me." As she spoke, the Queen Mother's body began to wither, her skin drying up like a leaf. She let out a blood-curdling scream and collapsed on the ground, lifeless. The villagers were amazed when they heard the news. They gathered around the Queen Mother's hut, and as they looked on, Ikechukwu, Onyebuchi and Ekene suddenly burst out of their homes, each holding a newborn triplet in their arms. Chai! God has finally remembered them. The Queen Mother's curse was broken,